Hello, and welcome back to another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. Spiritual stereotypes. I like to talk about them because they're actually important. Things become stereotypes for a reason, and things that become gimmicks or stereotypes in the spiritual community actually have deep meaning and deep purpose. That's why they became a stereotype. The thing is that the way they're used by the average woke person ends up not always being as meaningful as it could be, and in the grand scheme of things, sometimes they're misused. But things like gratitude, I've talked about that before, things like positivity and mirroring. And today I want to talk about this idea that spiritual people are supposed to be calm and all peaceful. So I saw this funny meme graphic on Instagram today, and it got me thinking, because it was talking about how you can be spiritual, you can be a spiritual person without being nice all the time. And that got me thinking, because actually, the people who are the most well-adjusted in the grand scheme of things, because when it comes down to it, spiritual anything also is gonna have roots in the practical. And there's a reason why that calm, peaceful stereotype is a stereotype for spiritual people. And so if you're not living up to that stereotype, that's not to say that you're not on a spiritual journey. That's not to say that you aren't awakening spiritually. It just means that you're not as deep into your spiritual journey as maybe some others. Because here's the thing. Well-adjusted people, as I call them, or people who are on a spiritual journey, people who are deep into the enlightenment of spirituality, they start to realize certain things, which is what allows them to adopt that peaceful demeanor. Because as you get deeper and deeper into your spiritual journey, the more and more you start to recognize that nothing matters, and that any meaning we give anything is meaning we've given something, not meaning that it has. So when it comes to being loving and peaceful as a spiritual person, that's actually a good place to aim for, that particular spiritual stereotype. What people often misunderstand is, when it comes to being nice, this idea that being loving means always being joyful, cheerful, and kind or nice. And you can absolutely be a spiritual person deep on your spiritual journey, deep into your spiritual journey, and be loving. And that doesn't always, as I say, necessarily mean you're going to be toxically positive. What that means is that you're going to find the nicest, most kindest way to say anything, whether it's something that is nice to say, or maybe it's something that might be hurtful for somebody to hear. So my response to this graphic that I saw today would be no, actually. Someone deep into their spiritual journey is going to be nice. Because when it comes to love, it may not always be excessively positive, but it's always going to find the kindest, most nice way to do something. And there's always a calm, nice, rational, logical, peaceful way to do most things. I'm not going to say everything, but I'm going to say most things, including dealing with a lot of different conflict. So sure, someone can be at the beginning of their spiritual journey and have not learned what it takes to adopt that peaceful, spiritual, stereotypical aesthetic and attitude, but that doesn't mean that the spiritual journey isn't always going to lead to that if you get deep enough into it. So I know that a lot of people like to justify their actions. We as human beings, having the ego that we do when it hasn't matured to catch up with us, we justify our actions. But at the end of the day, that niceness that this person thinks that a spiritual person doesn't have to have, well, they're just not as far along in their spiritual journey as others. And that's okay. It's going to take each and every one of us however much time it takes to get down that road. But that doesn't mean eventually they're not going to get there. So let's be careful and aware of how we allow the ego to allow us to justify things for the sake of labels. Because that's really all that's happening here with this person trying to justify things. Yes, they are absolutely a spiritual person, I'm sure. And I'm sure that they, as a human being with a human ego, despite the fact that they are also a spirit having a temporary human experience, I'm sure that sometimes it is very tempting for them to allow that to get the best of them. That doesn't make them any more or less a spiritual person. That just means they're not as far along on their spiritual journey as someone else who has learned to do things like respond rather than react. That's okay. If this person really wants to continue along the spiritual path in their life, they will get there. And in the meantime, just be aware of the fact that you are making excuses because you are not as far along as others are. You don't have to make those excuses. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone or anything to feel good about yourself. Just because someone's better at something than you are doesn't mean that you're wrong and they're right, or they're wrong and you're right. Everything is neutral, and nothing has any meaning except the meaning you attribute to it, but it doesn't actually have meaning. So, yeah, just take the time to recognize when you feel the ego come up. Recognize it. And then ask yourself why that's happening. Why do you feel the need to let your ego dictate your response to something? Why are you letting your ego respond to things at all in an outward way? Thank you guys for joining me for another video. If you are interested in getting deeper into your spiritual journey, my Patreon is absolutely something I would recommend that you check out. I have my Spirituality 101 series that I just finished, and I also have my Spirituality 2.0 series that I've just started. We've got the very first video over there. I have multiple tiers over on Patreon for subscriptions at different prices, all very, very affordable. And that includes the Awakening tier, which is a lot like YouTube, only we get even deeper into certain subjects. So the Awakening tier all has one-off videos, as where the Ascending, Sanctuary, and Enlightening tiers all have those same videos the Awakening tier does. It also has the journal exercises, the guided meditations, and then the Ascending, Sanctuary, and Enlightening tiers also have access to things like my 101 Spirituality 101 series, my Spirituality 2.0 series, my course, the Intuitive Lifestyle course, as well as access to their own things. So the Ascending has access to the Awakening content as well as all of my series and courses. The Sanctuary has access to its own content as well as everything the Ascending has access to. And then the Enlightening has access to everything the Ascending has access to, as well as a once a month one-on-one session with me and access to Voxer direct messaging so that we can talk in between sessions if you have any questions. So if you're ready to, like I said, heal, grow, and expand, go deeper on your spiritual journey, definitely check that out. If you're super extra ready to heal, grow, and expand, I am taking on one-on-one clients right now. I still have some spots available. Actually, I still have several spots available because I opened up more spots this session cycle. So if you're really, really ready, then hit me up. I will put my email in the description as well as the link to my free clarity call form where we can discuss if my one-on-one is right for you, if I'm right for you to help you heal, grow, and expand. So check out all those links in the description, and may the energy you serve you well. I'm thinking about doing a video once a day here on YouTube. We'll see what happens. It's something I've been thinking about, so let me know as well in the comments if you would like to see a video from me every day. All right, guys, may the energy you serve you well, and let's keep making our way through.